Big Polly Sports Sims proudly presents another episode of Grand Slam Wrestling. Today it is Dory Funk Jr. defending his GSW World Heavyweight title against the very crafty Dick Daviscourt. Hello everybody, I'm Big Polly coming to you. If you are just seeing this right after well, actually, today on the old calendar it is April 17th, and I'm just doing this without looking. So let me just double check to be sure. Yes, it's April 17th. Thank you very much. Last night, and I thank all of you who dropped by and have seen the video since it began airing. I did a chat with Al Red Sox fan. It's the first chat I have ever done in the history of this channel. I was a guest, and he had on Tom Vogel of Wrestling's Finest. So I was a guest because this is what I do. I use Wrestling's Finest to do GSW. So check that out. Al Red Sox fan, chat with Al, Tom Vogel, Big Paulie. You'll find it. And we went on for a little over a couple of hours last night talking about Wrestling's Finest. Since a lot of people will probably be looking at this video as a result of the chat that I did last night, we'll go a little slower with what I do here. And like I said, this is Dory Funk Jr. Dory Funk Jr. has been the GSW World Title, World Champ now for 9 weeks. He is in the Portland circuit. GSW is kind of like the NWA used to be, where there are territories all over the place. Right now there are 17. And every 4 weeks, I determine if there are territories that merge, territories that fold, kind of like how the wrestling business was in the 80s. So Dory Funk Jr. is the reigning world champion. We do not have circuit champions. We have all circuits recognizing the various champions of GSW. We have regional titles for the continents, and all, like for instance, all of the North American circuits recognize the North American champion. It's on a lower level, and the international title. Kind of think of it how the NWA used to have the U.S. title. Mid-Atlantic had the U.S. title, and it was like the number 2 title. So I guess the best thing I could do right now is to show you the roll call of champions. Think of this kind of like the old Apter magazines inside wrestling back in the 80s, and they would always have one page where they would show you who the champions are. We have had one title change, and that occurred yesterday as I was doing the Los Angeles circuit off camera. And it was Ella Waldeck and Mae Young winning the World's Women's title for a 5th time in GSW, finally knocking off the Tokyo Sweethearts, who had been the champs 16 weeks, and they have had the longest reign of the tag belts outside of Waldeck and Young, who are right now are considered one of the best women's tag teams in GSW, although they have not met the Crush Girls yet, and the Crush Girls will probably give them a whole boatload of trouble. Once that match comes off, the Crush Girls have to climb in the ratings a little bit. Now, during this spring quarter of year number 4, we're doing the Monarch of the Mat tournament. And our next telecasts of the 2 finalists for this week, which will be in Tampa and Detroit. The Detroit circuit merged with Montreal, but we took the circuits as they were after the first quarter. Detroit still had a circuit. Well, there I am again. Sorry, folks. There we go. And these are the results so far. We haven't had a 1-seed win any of the circuit tournaments yet, and this week, probably Wednesday, which would be, okay, today's the 17th, so that would be around the 21st of April, we will have the Detroit and Tampa finals for you back to back, and we will just surprise you all with who has made the finals in each of those circuits. So that brings us to our event for today. And in the history of the GSW match of the week, I have been doing following basically the world title. There are some weeks when the world title is not defended. I usually either do the World Junior Heavyweight Championship, which is right now held by Jerry Lawler, or the World Tag Team Champs, which right now are being held by Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat. So off we go with Detroit. We will tell you about the Detroit results here in just a moment. Let me first acknowledge Cliff at the Wrestling's Finest Delphi board. He has put together a whole boatload of pictures that you could see. This Dick Daviscourt picture is brand new, and this Dory Funk Jr. picture for you over on the left-hand side, I believe, is brand new. Um, we'll go over the card and then we'll go over the particulars of the match. In the opening bout, it was Buddy Rose over a babyface Angelo Mosca. Actually, no, they went to a double countout. Mosca a babyface because he's in Portland right now. And I think those Portland fans know about the old CFL, I'm assuming, back in the day. In our second bout, it was a good one between Stan Hansen and Kevin Von Erich, as Hansen really took the brawl to Von Erich, but Von Erich slipped away and won by countout. We'll hear a little more about Stan Hansen and his escapades tonight a little later. Blackjack Mulligan over Dutch Savage. Mulligan the heel and Savage the babyface. If you don't know Portland wrestling, Dutch Savage was a legend in Portland. And Mulligan won by pin on a claw hold at 14:28, so Dutch Savage will have to go to another territory. And this is a rule that I have in my territorial system that if anybody loses by pin, clean in the middle, and they are not a champion, a former champion in GSW, they hit the road and they could become the property of a randomly picked circuit. And I will do that right after this card is over with. So we know Dutch Savage will be going somewhere other than Portland. In our fourth bout, Roddy Piper over Toshiyaki Kawada when Kawada nailed Piper with a rather stiff shot with a ringside bell. Seemed like Piper was severely injured. He was not. The time of the fall there, 24-26. And Piper picks up a couple points on the DQ as these two were within 10 points of each other in the rankings. And we'll go over the rankings in just a little bit. In the tag match, which I always like to put either fourth or fifth, the Sheepherders and the Southern Rockers. The Rockers would seem to be a considerable underdog, but they took the Sheepherders to a 30-minute draw. So they will pick up the 2 points for the draw and the 2 points for being 22-point underdogs. We take the first digit of the difference and we add it to what the points that they would normally get, so they get 4 points. You can't lose points on draws and you can't lose points on wins, but there are other permutations, wins or draws. And you can't gain points and losses in my rating system. Hulk Hogan came in from FLA, battled Gene Kiniski, and Kiniski gave him all kinds of trouble. Stan Hansen intervened and attacked Hogan. Hogan wins by DQ at 25-49, and it looks like on the next loop, Hogan and Hansen will collide. And that brings us to our main event, Dory Funk Jr. His ranking, his running ranking is 160, and Dick Daviscourt is at 133. Daviscourt just recently held the North American Championship and lost it to The Undertaker after defeating Ray Stevens. So the way our rating system works, if Funk wins by pinfall, say Chalk holds and Funk wins by pin, he picks up 2 points for the win, not 4, because he's a 27-point favorite here. And again, we take that first digit, subtract it from 4 because Funk is the favorite. Now, if Daviscourt wins the title tonight, it's 6 points for him because we take the 4 and we add 2. And we'll go over what happens if there is a draw, a count out. If there's a count out, Dory Funk Jr. does not gain any points. But if Daviscourt wins by count out, he gains 4. Because it would be 2 points for the count out win and 2 points for because he's a 27-point underdog in the rankings. So we will get to our bout. It is all set up. We'll go over the stats here a little bit. Funk's going to have a tremendous stamina advantage at 72-4. Daviscourt, as I come in and show you the board here, Daviscourt 78.5. He is known as Roughhouse Richard. And his pin rating's 25-25-3. Dory Funk Jr.'s is a 9.61, and Daviscourt's stamina is 78.5. Coming into tonight, using the Champions card. Now remember that there are 2 separate cards used in GSW. Actually, in GSW, you could, in Wrestling's Finest, you could have several cards either representing a time frame or a whether or not the wrestler concerned is a babyface or a heel. We use the World Champion card for Dory Funk Jr. for these purposes because in real life he was a World Champion for nearly 4 years from 69 to 73. He lost the title. He beat Gene Kiniski for the title, oddly enough, because we had Gene Kiniski on this card. and he lost to Harley Race because Dory Funk Jr. didn't want to lose the title to Jack Briscoe. So they made up a well, I won't say it was made up, but they figured out a compromise, and the compromise was to have Harley win the title, and then Harley would lose it to Jack in Houston in '73. Dick Daviscourt, I would say he was a Depression era grappler, and he's been one of the surprise names in GSW in the nearly, this is the fourth year I've been doing GSW. I started it in December of 2017, and Daviscourt was just one of these names I picked out of a barrel, out at random, and he has been pretty good. He's 2-3-1 using his normal card. Using the Champions card, Dory is 6-0-2, 6 wins, no losses, 2 ties, and he did have I think, a couple of matches just using his normal card before he became world champion. He beat Jim Lundos to win the world title. So, with that being said, it is not a defend the title match because I would think that Dory Funk Jr., with his card and his superior ability, at least I would envision this in his mind, should be able to beat Daviscourt. They are both heels, so we'll see a little treachery as this match goes on. It is one fall. It is 60-minute time limit. Daviscourt must get a pin or a submission within 60 minutes to acquire the title. Otherwise, Dory Funk Jr. keeps the title and moves on to the International Combine. He'll be defending his title next week in either Tokyo, Mexico City, San Juan, or London. So we'll look at the trade hold recommendations. They both have ropes as the move to change, and usually we leave that alone when that occurs. And let's ring the bell and let's get this match started. Dick Daviscourt, and let me just blow out the screen a little bit here so you could see this. And I'll try to pay attention to it. Dick Daviscourt better hope Dory Funk Jr. busts his head on the way to the ring, otherwise he's in for a long night. Funk should retain the title tonight. And with that being said, let's get the match started. And again, let me just transition over here so you can see the kind of a tail of a tape here. Dory Funk Jr. is computer face champion. Well, kind of and sort of. I think people want to see a new champion here tonight. And I think that if this were an actual match, I think they'd be pulling for Daviscourt to try to win the title. So let's go back and let's start it up. No action to start the match. Remember, we go 60 here. Daviscourt coming in 2-3-1. Dory Funk, at least on his Champions card, is 6-0-2. Illegal choking. That's not going to get it done. Daviscourt with the first pin attempt of the match. Illegal punches by Dick. 6 points off of Funk. So he's already down 18 points as we go to the 137 mark of the bout. And Daviscourt not trying to get DQ'd this early. He's using punches, and that's another 6 points off of Funk's total. Legal elbow, so he's already down to 48-4 from 72-4. Legal elbow by Daviscourt, and another 6 points. So Daviscourt racking up the points early, and again, series of punches, 6 more off. Could we be seeing the early makings of an upset here? As I once wondered when a man named Buster Douglas stepped into the ring and was working the jab very well on a guy named Mike Tyson on February, I forget the exact night, February of 1990. I was watching that fight on HBO when it happened. Punches, and Funk has scored his first move of the night. It's 5 off of Daviscourt's total. Action is happening outside the ring. We have blood. Daviscourt has been cut, and that's a big move for Funk. 28 points added to the 25 stamina reduction, so that brings Daviscourt down to minus 58. Submission move countered by Daviscourt. Daviscourt goes for an eye gouge, and that's 4 points off of Funk Jr.'s total. But Daviscourt has now almost lost all the points that he has on this stamina level. And he has the only pin attempt so far, 4-11 into the bout. Legal low blow by Daviscourt. 6 points off of Jr. Auto control loss back over to Funk. Funk with illegal punches. And that's 5 more points off of Roughhouse Richards' total. Specially moved, spinning toe hold, but it was countered. Daviscourt saw that coming. Supple attempt by Daviscourt, no. Legal headbutt, not an illegal, and that's 4 more points off of Daviscourt. Daviscourt about to drop a stamina level. He's down to 11 and 5, so once those 11 points go, it's going to kick the pin rating up a few points for Daviscourt. He should be at 30 something. Legal whip to the ropes. That's 6 more points off, so he's one move away now from losing a stamina level. Illegal punches, in fact, he has just hit it, and he's just gone to 30-33. Illegal punches. No, you're not going to get the pin on Daviscourt that early. So on we go. On we go with the match. We are 6:50 in. Disqualified check. Possible DQ stopped. Action back to Funk. Illegal choking, and 6 more points off of Daviscourt's total. So Funk Jr. having carried the battle now, that he's on a good run the last 4 or 5 minutes of this bout. Legal arm hold by Funk Jr., 5 points off of Dick Daviscourt's total. He's now down to minus 89, and he's got a minus 28 cut. At some random point, if the Daviscourt cut total goes up over 50, there is a random number. Once it is triggered, it's a stoppage of the fight. It's a stoppage of the bout, and Dory Funk Jr. will win, and it counts as a half a win if he wins on cuts. You can't have the title exchanged on cuts, by the way, unlike boxing. Specialty move, a forearm, and Dory loves to throw those forearms, and they look beautiful when he throws them. That's 9 points off of Daviscourt's total, and on we go. Dory Funk has used a lot of strategy cards, I would think, because he's already down to 3, and Daviscourt is down to it has 6. I let the computer run both fighters, so I could just focus in on commentating on the bout. And I usually do that. I just let the computer run it. No action for Daviscourt. Specialty move, the spinning toe hold, but it doesn't look like that'll get a submission. Daviscourt, not a guy who's going to tap out, at least too soon, and that spinning toe hold put a serious dent in Daviscourt's pin rating, at least temporarily. And he's back to 30-33, which is where he started. He is down a stamina level. Funk Jr. has still not lost his stamina level. Illegal turnbuckle move, it's 5 points more off of Daviscourt. So Daviscourt, he started out good the first 3 minutes of the bout, but it's been anything but an easy task for him since. Legal elbow by Funk Jr., legal neck hold. Just meat and potatoes holds here for Dory Funk Jr., and he is piling up the points on Daviscourt. An illegal hair pull. It doesn't look like Daviscourt has a lot of hair looking at his photo, but he's got some. And that reduces stamina by 4. So Daviscourt already in a lot of trouble. Back to the spinning toe hold. The submission is now 40-1. Doesn't get him. Could have got a pin on a spinning toe hold too, but now Daviscourt has lost 5 more points on his pin ratings. So the first count, a 35 out of 40 will get to the second count. A 35 out of 40 will get you to the third count, which would be 3 out of 40. So the odds of him being pinned are now going up. Spinning toe hold. And it's been all Dory Funk Jr. since about the 3-minute mark of this bout. We're now 12:40 in auto control loss. Davis loses control back to Dory. Dory with illegal choking. And I think Dory Funk Jr. was right to be confident that he could beat Daviscourt, not using the defend the title privileges that he has. Headlock. Illegal punches by Daviscourt. Illegal power move by Daviscourt. That was countered. In fact, that Daviscourt illegal punches was the first successful hold he has had in a while. And we have a submission move. Sleeper hold, but that does not terminate the bout. Dory Funk Jr. disqualified check. Body slam by Dory Funk Jr. He has been on a tear the last 12 minutes of this bout. A kick outside the ring. And another cut, a very small cut, has opened up on Daviscourt, upping his cut total to minus 32. And that reduces his stamina 15. Back supple. No. So on we go. Funk is still 26 points away from losing his first stamina level. He is still at 961. So he's got a very good chance of getting out of any pinning predicament. You almost have to hit the lottery for Daviscourt to get a pin here. Pin hold was countered. Back to Daviscourt. Illegal punches. And again, Daviscourt. It's like watching a basketball team put up 24 points in a row, and you're just amazed to see the other team get a basket. Daviscourt with illegal punches. It's -6 off of Funk Jr. Body slam by Daviscourt. So he's now put two moves together for the first time since the early moments of the bout. Right now, auto control loss. Dory Funk Jr. Loses control, goes back to Daviscourt. By the way, I wanted to point out that I wanted to apologize to everybody on the chat with Val because the audio on my end came out a little garbled, and I don't think I set up the audio on StreamYard to capture the audio I had coming out of my USB headset. So that's why if you watch the chat with Val, when I'm speaking, it comes out a little garbled, and I should have fixed that before going on with Val, and I apologize for that. I just thought about that just now. Body slam by Funk. No pin. On we go. No action. Back over to Dory Funk Jr. with an illegal turnbuckle move. Daviscourt now going to lose his third stamina level before Dory loses one, although he is just 6 points away. Pin hold. Now Daviscourt is down to a 40-43. He is in deep trouble. 20-28 into this world title bout. Body slam. So now finally, Dory Funk Jr. loses his stamina level, but it might be too little too late. Another body slam by Dory Funk Jr., so they're just trading body slams here. A kick by Dory Funk Jr. 5 points off of Daviscourt's total. Kick, disqualified check, arm holds being used. So Daviscourt methodically just wearing Daviscourt being worn down by Funk Jr. Headlock by Funk Jr. I think he seems to have this all under control, and you might not be in any hurry to pin Daviscourt just to make sure the fans get their money's worth here. No actions. Illegal choking by Daviscourt. 6 more points off of Funk Jr.'s total. He's down -81, but Daviscourt at -261 and a 32 cut. So he's taking a beating here. Legal elbow. And Daviscourt 6 more points off of his totals. Strategy card used and countered. No action. No action. We're 25 minutes into the bout now. A kick by Jr. 5 more points off. Legal turnbuckle. Legal headbutt by Daviscourt. That seemed to stun Funk Jr. a little bit. Illegal turnbuckle move by Dick Daviscourt. Daviscourt with a disqualified check. He uses punches instead. Daviscourt using punches again. So Daviscourt looks like he might be getting something going here. Funk is now 35 points away from losing another stamina level, while Daviscourt has already lost a whole bunch. No action. A kick by Funk. Specialty move. Spinning toe hold countered by Daviscourt. We're now 28-24 into the bout. Disqualification possible. And it doesn't happen. Daviscourt using punches. Daviscourt has control. Disqualified check. And referee getting impatient with both men. And the match continues. We're 29-05, now 29-21 into the bout. Auto control loss. Back over to the Funker, the world champ. Pile driver. Countered by Daviscourt. We have had 5 pin attempts by Funk Jr. We have had 1 pin attempt by Daviscourt. And Funk has been in control 49 times and Daviscourt 30. Legal low blow. Counter moves by Funk Jr. We're halfway through our championship bout. Crawhammer forearm, and that's the patented move by Daviscourt, but it was countered. And we move on. Body slam by Funk Jr. 22-20-20. No pin. Illegal chop. No. So on we go. We're at 31-34. A body slam. That does not score the pin. So Funk Jr. with some rapid fire pin attempts, but Daviscourt getting out each time. Legal neck hold by Daviscourt. Daviscourt, strangle headlock. And you had to get a 1 on the third number to get him. And you couldn't get him. So both these men now relatively close to losing another stamina level. We'll see who loses what first. Illegal punches by Daviscourt, 5 more points off of Dory Funk Jr.'s total. He's down to 7 before he takes another stamina hit, which would be his second submission move. No. So Daviscourt, Roughhouse Richard, staying in. Legal headbutt scores. The headbutt by Daviscourt, headlock scores. Strangle headlock again. Disqualified check again. So both these guys on their next move are going to lose stamina levels because Dory is a point away and Daviscourt 4 away. And we're 35-33 into the 60-minute time level. Daviscourt loses his stamina first, so his 40-43 pin rating goes to a 40-40-13. Legal forearm by Dory Funk Jr. Kick. Auto control loss. It goes back to Daviscourt. All he's got to do is hit one move, and Dory loses some more on the pin rating. Fan interaction. Daviscourt bleeding with the fans to quit booing. Say, hey, don't you want to see me win the title? 5 points off of his total. Legal throw by Daviscourt, and now Dory Funk Jr. hits another stamina level, which I believe is only his second hit. And that is 4 more points off of him. It's 147 off of Dory Funk, 325, and a 32 cut on Roughhouse Richard. Auto control loss, legal elbow, and good night. Dory Funk Jr. successfully defending his world crown. And let me just move this down a little bit and show you the bout went 38:04. 38:04, and it got 4.5 stars. So the time of the fall, 38:04, your winner and still GSW World Heavyweight Champion is Dory Funk Jr. And we'll take a look at the final numbers here. 147 off of Dory Funk Jr. in terms of damage. Daviscourt took the brunt of the beating, 331 and a 32 cut. So Dory Funk Jr. will head to the International Combine. He will either be in Tokyo, Mexico City, San Juan, or London defending his title next week. Or he has a 1 in 5 chance of not having to defend the title, and if not, we will have the World Junior Heavyweight title being defensed because it's 4 out of 5, and we're going to have a world champion going each of the 4 circuits. So there's a 1 in 5 chance that Dory Funk Jr. will not have to defend his world title and will just defend it the next week. We hope you enjoyed today's bout. And if you haven't already done so, go check my chat with Al Red Sox fan and Tom Vogel, Wrestling's Finest. If you want to learn more about this game, that's a good place to go. And I think we covered everything in 2 hours and 19 minutes of chatting from soup to nuts. And we'll probably, because Al could not figure out how to get the StreamYard to work to where he could show the guts of Wrestling's Finest, we may be doing another chat sometime in the near future. So this has been Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well. If you are catching this on April 17th, it's OOTP Perfect Team tomorrow. Franchise Hockey Manager 7 on Monday. Probably another Glory Days boxing fight, the Big Paulie's Fight Night, on Tuesday night. Remember the days that USA would have Tuesday night fights? And we will come back Wednesday and we will show you the circuit finals of the Monarch of the Mat qualifying tournaments in Tampa and Detroit. This has been Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well. Godspeed and God bless, and we'll do it all again soon, by Jove. Bye-bye for now, everybody.